Welcome to the next edition of Forum Bites. In this episode, we're going to have a one-on-one conversation with Caddy, who's actually the MyEO chair as well as an EO San Francisco member, answering the simple question of how MyEO can enhance your forum experience. Caddy, tell me very quickly, what actually is MyEO? For the people who don't know what the program is, what exactly is it?
MyEO, Rod, is an incredible benefit that we have as members. And the cool thing about it is that it's a member-led initiative. So if there's a passion that a member has or the specific interests they have, either for their business or personal, they can join over 600 MyEO events or over 500 MyEO groups that already exist.
So
But
what's the difference though between those, like an event and a group?
so an event is a one-time thing. So when we do the My EO Women Bogota event, it's a one-time thing. 100 people come to there and it's a done deal and it's finished. The group has an ongoing cadence. So you would meet with your group members on a monthly basis. They have online virtual events all the time. And the difference really is that your group ends up being the ones that you're in touch with all the time, whether it's WhatsApp, whether it's Facebook, so on and so forth. And then you come together for a one-time event.
Good. I had a look at, funny enough, on the website last night to have a look at a couple of, because I've actually filled out my matrix, by the way. You'll be happy about that. But I filled that out and I actually had a look at some of the items that are on there. And there's such a varied array of interest. Engagement from different things, from whiskey clubs, running clubs, women of EO, people who love sporting, people who love business, people who love cycling. I was filling out the matrix and I was overwhelmed by the amount of actual subjects. Because I have to admit, the last time I went to the Myo Matrix would have been probably about 5 years ago, and there
Oh,
would have been maybe 10.
yeah. Yep, it's
10.
changed. Yeah.
Oh, it has changed so very much, which is great to see. And the events, I was having a look at the number of events ranged around the world. You know, the best thing about I've found is that you can list the events as not only in what you're interested in, but also your area that you can actually
Yep.
go to, which makes it so very much easier. But when it comes down to the value for the forum, what have you seen actually the value has been for either the member or the forum in joining a MyEO group? Because you're actually part of a couple of MyEO groups, aren't you?
I am. I'm actually the My EO Global Committee Chair, as well
Yeah.
as the champion for a few My EO groups. Clearly, I love My EO.
I was about to say,
Really?
clearly you're passionate about it. Yeah.
And I love Forum. So these two are my two loves, and I see the two of them come together and being so complementary with each other. So where I see My EO really being a great tool for for EO members to use, for Forum members to use, is when it comes to retreats. As I mentioned, there's over 600 events happening in My EO globally, and certainly passion projects as well, correct? So if a forum is going on a retreat, to take a look at that chapter, to look at that region and see what My EO events are happening, and tagging along with one of those already makes the work of the retreat planner a little bit easier, right? Actually, quite
That'll
a bit.
make the moderators and the retreat planners very happy. Because I
Very.
have to admit, planning those, because I remember a couple of forum retreats I went on, and we were able to go to a couple of my events and events. We got to meet practically the whole chapter at some of these events.
Yes.
And the best thing about I've found with going to these events is that when you find a topic that you're passionate about, you immediately click with people around the world because you're talking the same language, let alone the entrepreneur, let alone the business. The other part is great for the forum as well as the member. But when it comes down to, I suppose, the value for the forum, the way I look at it, and tell me if I'm wrong, I see forum as the core, and MyO and everything else is like a bolt-on addition to add to the forum experience. Because MyO is not there to replace anything, is it?
No, no, no. Mario's an
Yep.
end. Yeah, Mario is a big
Yep.
end to everything. And the
Yep.
way we always talk about MyEO is MyEO is a tool, really. It's a tool that whatever a member is looking for can be melded and molded into that. And where I see it most benefiting forums, for example, in forum, because of the structure of forum, we don't have anyone else in our forums who is in our actual industry or in our actual line of business.
Yes.
However, sometimes we need the tactical examples of somebody else in our business. For example, I'm in the staffing business and I'm in the staffing My EO group. And a few months ago, I got just a tidbit of information that had to do with staffing that has completely changed and opened up a whole new line of business for us, because those folks know exactly what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. So in forums, sometimes I hear members saying, I want tactical information. I want to just learn a little bit about how to do XYZ in my business. Then fantastic. Have forum be where one would get their leadership growth, their personal growth, the general business growth, and then go to the My EO industry group for the tactical information that you need, because those folks are in your actual industry. So that's one place that I see it quite a bit.
And I suppose thinking about it logically, then you have your forum who have got every different parts of businesses, every different parts of stage of life, age, married, with kids, without kids, everything. And then I suppose then you could then find a MyEO group not only to give you information on your industry, but also maybe the stage you're at in your life or in your business cycle. Under 35s, women, as you said, women of EO, people who own restaurants, whatever it comes down to, people who own international businesses, people who own only domestic, and so on. I must admit, I hadn't thought of that, because I've seen the diversity in forum, I suppose, as its cornerstone. But I suppose I can see the absolute benefit then of, for example, yourself talking to someone about staffing, which makes logical sense, because then you're avoiding the mistakes they've already made and you're immediately linked.
Yeah.
That is something which I have to admit I hadn't thought about. I thought it was all about fun. I must admit, I thought it was all about fun.
So it is still quite a bit of fun. So
Yeah.
we won't forget that, right?
I won't forget that.
Just a couple of weeks ago in the LAC region, there has been a My EO barbecue challenge for several years now. So it just
Yeah.
happened. There were 200 members that showed up from 20 different chapters, and they had an enormous barbecue feast.
And I'm guessing, was that a bit of a combined family event as well? It's like family members, spouses, stuff, and life partners can come down?
Yeah, so that's the beauty of My EO. We have My EO Families, which is for EO members who want to engage their families in events or put events together. Again, during the pandemic, the My EO Families group was instrumental in terms of they did sessions on homeschooling, they did sessions on online bullying, all of these things that we don't necessarily think about as My EO being a resource for. It actually really stepped up and really helped support our members through this crazy year that we were going through. When everything shut down, our members that were in the food and beverage industry, our members who were in the events industry, their businesses overnight went down to nothing, to zero.
Yeah.
And of course, their forums were there from the emotional support, from being there as their forum tribe, as their people. But it was being in the industry groups to talk to other people in the events industry or to other people in the food and beverage to say, how are you pivoting? What are you doing? How are you taking care of your open orders? What are you doing with your employees? That tactical information really stepped up during COVID, and we've seen the enormous expansion of the My EO industry groups. We've seen the enormous expansion in everything My EO, but I think industry groups is something that every single member has in common. So truly it's an and, it's not an or. It's forum and My EO, and how My EO can support the forum experience.
So what you're telling me, there is value for the member, there's value for the life partner, and there's value for the family. Well, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? It's a total no-brainer. MyEO actually does have a very soft spot in my heart. It actually saved my son, who's going through bullying at school, where we went to Base Camp Everest together when he was a 13-year-old, thanks to a lot of EO members behind the scenes coordinating everything. It truly changed his life, and it truly changed mine. So if you do want any more information, I'll leave the links below in the actual description so you can get links. You will need your EO logon details to get them. But as always, if you have any questions whatsoever, please leave them in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed already, do hit that subscribe button now to get notification of all our videos when they go live. And as always, I'll see you very soon in the next episode.